There's the standard gauge tracks over there. So the standard gauge tracks still exist, but it would have been dual gauged all the way from Alamosa to Antonito. Still following the railroad tracks. This is still the line from Alamosa to Antonito.
Where are we heading to?
We are going to Antonito, Colorado, in the San Luis Valley to ride the Cumbres Toltec Scenic Narrow Gauge Railroad. We'll be staying at the Narrow Gauge Inn right next to the yards in Antonito. It's Labor Day weekend, and Antonito will probably be doing a little firework display. So tomorrow for the train ride, we'll be riding the bus out of Antonito to Chama, New Mexico, and catching the train out of Chama and riding up the 4% grade over Cumbres Pass, and then back down to Antonito. And in the middle, we'll make a lunch stop at the historic railroad town of Osier, Colorado.
What's the difference between narrow gauge and standard?
Standard gauge, modern standard gauge, or the standard gauge we use in the United States is 4 feet, 8.5 inches between the rails. Narrow gauge is 3 feet between the rails. The reason for narrow gauge, at least in the 1870s when the Rio Grande was founded, it was cheaper to build, cheaper to operate, could go around tighter curves, climb steeper grades, even though it was slower and less powerful than standard gauge. It was just better in the mountains or for short line railroads. The reason it's called the Denver Rio Grande is because it was supposed to go, General William Jackson Palmer, who started it, who founded the railroad, wanted to go all the way to Mexico City, but he only ever made it as far as Santa Fe, New Mexico, and into Utah. The Rio Grande was the major railroad in Colorado.
What did they used to haul it there?
Everything. Mining goods, passengers. One of the most famous passenger trains on the line was called the San Juan. It was a luxury passenger train on the narrow gauge, the only one of its kind in the world. They also hauled ore, silver and gold ore. They hauled sheep, cattle. During World War II, they hauled materials to make the atomic bomb.
This Cumbres and Toltec, what was it? Always a scenic railroad?
No, it was the San Juan extension of the Denver Rio Grande. Built in 1880, completed in 1881. The original line went all the way from Alamosa to Durango, Colorado, by way of Cumbres Pass and then Chama, New Mexico. Then in 1969, the Rio Grande completely abandoned the narrow gauge because it wasn't profitable anymore. And the states of Colorado and New Mexico bought it and started operating as the Cumbres Toltec Scenic Railroad in 1971. You can rent the house from Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade in Antonito. They used the Cumbres Toltec for that movie. Engine 484 was the circus engine. That's also what gave the narrow gauge a second lease on life, was Hollywood. The set that they used for Indiana Jones was also used for quite a few other movies, like Good Guys and the Bad Guys and Bite the Bullet, Shootout, The Missouri Breaks, A Million Ways to Die in the West. There's a few more titles, but I'm forgetting them right now. What I like most about the Cumbres and Toltec is, in my opinion, it's the best preserved heritage railroad in the United States. They are working hard to preserve the history of the Denver Rio Grande Western. All of the structures in Chama are original to the Rio Grande. They faithfully recreate historic trains and do photo charters, and it's just a great ride. The people that work there really love their jobs, and so that's what I like about the Cumbres and Toltec.